Today it's a dream come true as I get to interview one of my favorite artists of all time, Bermejo. That's up next. All right, everybody, welcome back. And like I said, today it's literally a dream come true as I get to interview my favorite comic book artist, Bermejo. I am so incredibly excited. I cannot believe this is happening. I just absolutely love his work. Now, the reason we're doing this interview is in conjunction with the amazing Bermejo Joker pre-order. That is something that I have already pre-ordered. I'm very excited about it. And because of this, he has agreed to do this exclusive interview with the Batman Statue Collector channel. I am so excited. So let's just get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bermejo.
Hi, I'm Bermejo, and I'm going to be answering some questions here, mostly regarding the Prime One Studios statues coming out based on my designs. So, a little bit of background info. I have mostly done work for DC Comics. I'm a comic book artist slash writer slash illustrator. I've done a lot of graphic novels with the writer Brian Azzarello, like we've done Joker, Lex Luthor, before Watchmen Rorschach, and most recently we did a book for DC called Batman Damned. I've also done some other stuff myself. I wrote and drew Batman Noir, the graphic novel Batman Noir, which Prime One Studios turned into a beautiful statue, and I also wrote and drew the Vertigo miniseries Suiciders. So I'll get right into the questions.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the questions. Question number one is, what first got you interested in art, and who influenced you along the way?
I guess I drew my whole life. I started drawing definitely as a very small child, and it probably only became, or at least the possibility of doing it as a career probably only happened when I got to be about 11 or 12, and started really heavily getting into a lot of the comics that were coming out at the time, most notably Howard Chaykin's Black Hawk and Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. And they both had kind of a really unique format and style at the time. And I was really attracted to the artwork of both of them. And it was the first time I remember really being interested in the artist and the person responsible for doing the drawings. And so at that point, I pretty much single-mindedly pursued becoming a comic book artist, and had the fortune of growing up, the good fortune of growing up in Southern California. So from 1993 on, I would go to San Diego Comic-Con, and I started showing my work to editors, and eventually I got hired at a studio in San Diego run by Jim Lee called Wildstorm Studios, that at the time was a part of Image Comics. And yeah, that's pretty much how things started.
All right, question number two is, how long does it typically take you to finish an illustration, and do you use references?
Yeah, it really depends, but for the most part, an interior page will usually take me full color between 3 and 4 days. But it depends on the complexity of the image. If it's a splash page or something a little bit simpler, things can go a lot quicker. But it just depends. To use reference. Yeah, absolutely. When I can, I absolutely like to use reference. I really like realism, but I do definitely like a stylized realism, so I don't like to use reference as a crutch. I like to make sure that the drawing comes first. So I start the drawing so I can get down the basic idea of what I want. And if I need to use reference after that to kind of give it that element of of realism, that element of chaos that maybe you would never think of on your own. I tend to try to do that afterwards, and I'm a really lazy realist. So I know a lot of guys in the business will use friends of theirs and take photo reference, and it's a more involved process. Mine is absolutely whatever the quickest thing I can get done. So if I can take a quick picture of myself using photo booth, I will do it. If I can find good reference for cars or guns, I hate drawing both of those, so I try to get reference for those. And then for backgrounds and stuff like that, I tend to be able to make a lot of that stuff up, but occasionally I'll find something really useful, and I do like to, if I find something really, really good, and I will definitely use it. But again, the emphasis is definitely on approaching even a drawing using reference with my style and the initial vision that I have. So I don't like to compromise that vision for the sake of reference, if that makes any sense.
All right, question number 3 is, your art seems to be inspired by that classic film noir. Are you inspired by that type of genre?
Yeah, definitely, but I would say more modern version of that genre. Um, I definitely love black and white photography. I'm definitely a big fan of high contrast photography. So, I can definitely say that for that to that end, the idea of a contrasty image is really appealing to me. And a lot of my favorite photographers would do what most people would be considered to do noirish photography. I love Daito Moriyama, for example. I'm a big fan of Mark Asnan and Bruce Davidson. There's various photographers whose work I really enjoy. Photography is a big influence on my work. Film wise, though, I remember seeing a couple films that really influenced me. The Crow, the first Crow movie, I remember being really striking visually at a very young age. I think it was 16 when I saw that. Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke, that was a huge influence. I think that movie is beautiful looking. And the movie Seven, introduced me to the director of photography, Darius Kanji, who I think is a total genius, and I'm a huge fan of cinematography, so I tend to follow a lot of cinematographers, and those guys and photographers are more of an influence on me than comic book work. I mean, and it has been for quite some time. So I mean, Roger Deakins and Darius Kanji and Conrad and all those guys, Connie Hall, all those guys are really, really massive influences on my work.
All right, question number 4 is, do you have full creative control in how you illustrate a graphic novel?
uh, Obviously not. No, I don't. Uh, in the past, I had a lot more control. Design-wise, I tend to have um, a lot of freedom. So, for example, in terms of the statues that we've been doing based on my designs, a lot of those come from the work. So specifically, Dead Man and my Batman Noel, and then Batman Damned costumes, which are both, are the Noel statues out, and the Batman Damned statue is coming out at some point or another. Those basically both feature all of the statues from Prime Run feature my versions of those specific characters. So design-wise, I do definitely have quite a bit of control. I've never had anyone uh, really question my design aesthetic. Not from at least not editorially. But no, total control. When you work on big company characters is impossible.
All right, question number 5, I'm really excited about. What has the process been like working with Prime One Studio, and are you able to give them art direction?
Prime One is, and this isn't just me. Um, talking them up because I'm working with them. I really do think they're the best in the business. I mean, they do exceptional work. They do, I think, the best pieces on the market right now. And the reason for that really is their meticulous attention to detail, their desire to absolutely get it right, and they are really, the kind of people you want to work with when you're an artist like myself, who really appreciates the minutia of everything. So, those guys get it. They want things to be a beautiful work of art as well as a collectible. So they are the perfect partners for me in this. And the work they've done is just, I mean, it's astounding. It really is incredible. The pieces are amazing. So it's been absolutely amazing working with them. I have provided them with designs. So I did a full turnaround for Joker and Batman Damned. I definitely did a design drawing as well as Deadman. So there's been a lot of input from me on the sculptures, but Bernardo Crucero is the guy who digitally sculpted them, and he is a monster of a 3D artist. I mean, he's incredible. You know, look at the details on Dead Man and Joker. I mean, the skin texture on Dead Man's costume. He is absolutely incredible, and that comes obviously from the guys at Prime One and their desire to make things as amazing as possible. So I definitely am involved with the designs, but I'm just a piece of that. Those guys are incredible at what they do, and so I feel very fortunate to be working with them.
All right, question number 6. Your Bermejo Joker is considered by many in the statue community to be the best Joker statue ever produced. What is it like to you to see your work in 3D form, and what was it like to see the Joker for the very first time?
Um, well, first of all, that's amazing. I had no idea people felt that way, or some people felt that way about the Joker statue. Um, my reaction was absolutely, I mean, it was surreal. It was like seeing my drawing absolutely come to life, or at least the closest that I'll probably ever come to seeing um, my Joker come to life. I still haven't seen the statue in person. I've just seen photographs, but it absolutely blew me away. I mean, I was following the process from the 3D sculpt um, through to the paint, and I mean, it was incredible. I hope people like it as much as I do.
A Christmas Carol is very special to my family. It goes back generations. It's something that we celebrate every single Christmas. It is our family tradition. What inspired you to want to adapt A Christmas Carol into a Batman story, and what was the writing process like for you?
You're talking about Batman Noel, the graphic novel that I did in 2011. What was the process like? Well, the project was kind of born out of two projects that I was working on simultaneously. One was a Batman graphic novel that just wasn't really coming together. I mean, I had this idea for this father and son, and I knew I wanted the father and son to have to. I mean, the original idea was convoluted, but they were living in the same building where Joker had his hideout. But it just like the story just never really came together. And at the same time, a French editor had just kind of planted a seed in my head, and he said, "Look, I mean, the company I'm working for, we're thinking about adapting famous works of literature. Are you interested in doing anything?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. I would like to do either Heart of Darkness or A Christmas Carol." And while I was working on the two, I really realized that they just kind of naturally melded together into this idea, and it seemed like such an insanely perfect concept in the sense that it was so simple. Um, it was really just very, very, it came together very easily after that. And I'd never written before, so for me, the book was more of like um, an attempt for me to write something that would be kind of like my um, my tryout piece to be able to write more, because I really wanted to do Suiciders, which was my creator-owned project, which I'd been working on for years. So Batman Noel was like, okay, well, let me test the grounds with a company character that I know very well, and something that will be more lucrative for the company at least, and maybe that will enable me to be able to do my own creator-owned thing, and that was exactly how that worked. So yeah.
All right, question number 8 is, would you like to see an animated version of either Noel or Batman Damned? And if so, would you want to contribute to the process?
No, 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 no. I'm not a big fan of the DC animation. I don't really like it. It's just not my thing. Um, uh, I would rather not see it done in that format. I mean, if they took a chance and they actually put some money into it and did like a CG animated movie out of Batman Well, that would be a different story. But Batman Damned is definitely not. Um, I would rather not see it in any other form other than the comic book form.
Question number 9. Fans were very excited when DC announced the Black Label line. It was going to be more adult oriented, more risque. I was able to pick up Batman Damned #1. I'm really glad that I own that piece. Now, what are your thoughts, though, that DC has refused to reprint that? And also, has DC asked you to tone your work down ever since?
Um, yeah, needless to say, Black Label was a totally different thing when we started working on the book as to what it is now. Who knows what it is now? I mean, do they know? Um, uh, yeah, there was definitely some changes that took place after that first issue came out, and that has everything to do with the AT&T merger with Warner Brothers. So, a new boss came in and apparently, didn't like the book, didn't like the adult direction of Black Label, and was not favorable to moving forward with that in the future. So, um, and a lot of it too was ridiculous decisions made on deep management at DC. I mean, they really handled that situation very poorly, very cowardly. They're not my characters, so the decision to censor it on the first issue, not my business. It's their property; they can do what they want with it. That's unfortunately the reality of it. So the thing that was really ruinous was not going back to print on the first issue, because um, a lot of people, regardless of the controversy or so-called controversy, which was really just some people kind of laughing about it. Uh, when all that was said and done, people I think just want to be able to read it, and I think that was really a bad decision on their part. And since then, there's been a lot of changes to issue two, um, just the adult content stuff. Adult content is no longer in the cards for DC Comics, at least as far as I know. But yeah.
Question number 10. Do you have anything planned beyond Batman Damned? And also, are there any characters that you haven't worked on that you would love to work on?
Yeah, I definitely do. I can't talk about any of it now because the project that's confirmed hasn't been announced yet, and some of the other stuff is just not, it's too far down the road to start talking about now. But there's definitely more creator-owned stuff that I'd like to do. I've got a couple stories, original stories that I'm really interested in pursuing. So it's going to be a cool new phase for me of doing more, hopefully more creator-owned work.
Question number 11, my final question is this. What does it mean to you personally when people recognize your style as a Bermejo Batman or a Bermejo Joker?
Uh, that's the best ever. I mean, when I started drawing comics, the thing that I really fought with at the beginning was a recognizable style, which basically I think every artist probably has a hard time finding that. Some people, it's just a natural thing for them. Other people, you know, copy another guy's work and they maybe evolve a little bit, but you can still see those fingerprints on the work. And I didn't want to be that kind of artist. I wanted to be the kind of artist where I didn't even need to sign the cover. In fact, I don't sign anything. So I don't. I mean, I would. I want people to look at the work and immediately be able to recognize that it's me. And so if I've accomplished that, then that's a great thing. But when it comes to Batman personally, it's just, you know, I'm really happy that I was lucky enough to start drawing comics at a time when that was still possible, because all that's going to go away. I mean, you know, as the company tightens down and things become more corporate and Disney-like, you know, that I think some of that original takes on characters or artistic interpretations of characters is going to be fought harder, because they want to kind of unify this brand image of these characters. So I feel lucky to have been able to do it for the short time that I was able to do it, and you know, hopefully, I never expect to please everybody, and I know there's a lot of people who dislike the designs as much as there are people who like the designs, which I also think is great. So it's a good feeling overall. So hope this works for you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Sorry this took so long to get together, but hopefully this works for you. And yeah, enjoy the statues.
All right, everybody, there you have it. Just thank you so very much to Lee Bermejo. I cannot believe that he took the time to do this interview. So thank you very much, Lee. Thank you, Prime One Studio. Thank you for coming out with this amazing Bermejo Joker piece. I cannot believe that it's coming. I can't wait to have it in my Batcave. It's going to go right over there by my Batman Noel. Again, he's just my favorite artist, and it's just the amount of realism and the work that he puts in. I absolutely appreciate it as a comic book fan and just as an art fan in general. So thank you, Lee, again for doing this. If you guys out there enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up for Lee for taking the time to do this video. Again, just thank you, Lee, from the bottom of my heart. This has definitely checked off something off my bucket list, so thank you very much. It is a collector's dream come true to be able to host you on this channel, so thank you very much for that. As always, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you right here in the Batcave.